Hey everyone, welcome to Unit 11, Building the Brick Corner, and this of course is week 7 in the pandemic. So by the end of this chapter, if we were in lab, you'd be able to lay out the first course of a wall with the correct number of stretchers. Now a stretcher, as they say here, if you look at a brick, laying it this way, right here, this is a stretcher. So if you're laying it lengthwise for a wall, that's a stretcher. So if you have 2 stretchers, then it looks like that. It just refers to laying it lengthwise. The next one, construct a rack back lead. Some of you may have seen this already. What they mean by rack back and a lead is in masonry, when you go to build the corners, you have to make sure that they're level and plumb and spaced correctly. And when they say rack back, it's just half of a brick. So this isn't exactly half, but right here, this spacing would be half of a brick. This one would be half of a brick. And you keep on constructing it like that. For all intents and purposes for this class, we're going to be more focused on outside corners than inside corners. So you really don't need to worry about the inside corners for BTM. So building a corner is one of the more difficult tasks that you would do. Reason being, the corner, the height needs to be exactly right. So on your base, you have your footer, or brick ledge. That's a surface that you lay to. And the mason is responsible for constructing a brick lead. I'll make this a rack back one. They need to be level, plumb, and spaced. And by spaced, you set the spacing with a modular ruler. So then that way all of your joints are the same width, the same height, and then everything looks nice and uniform. And this point can't be emphasized enough. When learning to build them, it is way more important to make sure that your technique and your craftsmanship is good than how fast you're getting it done. Because if you do it wrong, you're going to have to tear it down and do it again. No one wants to do that. So the rack back lead, this is the one that we already talked about. And those are the ones that they just look like steps with half of a brick. Not exactly half, but you guys get the idea, right? So that's pretty much it. You can see they are very simple. It would be the first one that you guys would be laying in lab. They're easy. They take time to get the hang of, but once you do, it's easy. The reason that you want to make sure that your leads are done right is because your leads will set the tone for the straight run of your wall. So you need to make sure that those are correct. That's why it's important to spend time on them. So this point right here is the one I was just talking about. Corner should always be ranged with a line to the opposite corner. So that means if you have a corner over here, and you have a corner over here, you want to make sure that everything lines up perfect going across for your run. If it doesn't, instead of it being a nice straight line, it could end up looking like a wave or running on a skew, and it won't look as nice. I'll cover more in part 2.